Hello, so in this video we're going to use this simulation, Phet simulation, to bend light and look at the different tools that you can use to investigate that. So here we have a light emitting ray. You can change the color, but red is just fine. And you can see that as it shines through the material here, which is selected as air, as the ray leaves the pointer and hits this material down the bottom, the grey material, which is glass, it bends. We can measure the bend, we can look at the angles. So there's a little tick that you can place down here to show you that the angle of incidence is 42 degrees, and as it bends when it hits the denser material, the glass, the angle of refraction, of bending, is less, so it's 26.5 degrees. And you can play with the angles and see what happens. Now, a very small amount of the light is actually being reflected off the surface of glass, because glass is quite reflective, and you can pick up this tool here and look at exactly how much of the light is reflected off the surface. So you can see 100% of the light is coming out of the pointer, 89% of the light here is passing into the glass, the refracted ray, and there's a reflected ray here which is just over 10, nearly 11% of the light. So that's quite a cool little green tool there that you can use. The other thing you can use down here is this speed tool. So I can look at the speed of light in air. So if I line it up there, the speed of light is 1. And when it goes into glass, the speed of the light is less than 1. So light slows down in denser materials like glass. And this is quite cool because you can change the type of material. We could change it to water, and you'll see that the angle is different now. So before, when it was in glass, the angle was 30 degrees for refraction, so there was quite a big bend. When you change it to water, there is less of a bend. The angle of refraction is now nearly 35 degrees, so it's 34.8. And if we look at the speed of light in water, it is 0.75, so a bit faster than it was in glass. And when you look at the density over here, water is less dense than glass. So you can move the slider along. There's a couple of fun things. You can pick some mystery materials and see if you can work out whether you think these are more or less dense than water and air. And there's a mystery material B as well. If you want to measure the angles for yourself, you can turn off that setting and use the protractor. Pop it onto your little diagram there and use that to measure angles. So a few little fun things that you can do to investigate the speed of light as it travels from one material into another. You can even make this one dense and this one less dense and see what happens to the light. Will it pass through? Maybe the angle has to change for it to pass through. So there's a few different things you can play with when you're investigating light refraction in different materials using this Phet simulation.